Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's installment of VCIO Toolbox Open Coaching. As always, I'm going to be opening up the chat window, so everybody can jump in and chat if you'd like. If you've got any questions, ask them in real time. I will also open up the Q&A. So if you've got any larger questions there, you can put those in. But today, we're going to be focusing a little bit on basically some of the admin tools that many people overlook. Some of the power that you might find in the admin tools that you can leverage to help make life a little bit simpler, and also just make sure you haven't missed anything in terms of setting up. So we'll give just another moment for people to join us, but for those of you that are new to coming to our trainings, this is something we do every Tuesday at 3 p.m., travel permitting. And in these trainings, what we really try to do is deep dives either on different concepts that might be impacting the VCIO or vCISO communities, certainly different products that are or components within VCIO Toolbox that we can do a deep dive on and hopefully make you utilize in a more optimized fashion. And occasionally we have guests that stop by as well. So with that being said, it looks like we've given folks enough time and we'll jump in today. But really what we're going to focus on is just the administrative panel and some of the things that are available to you for setup within the system. These are things that I see often overlooked when I'm working with people in either VCIO Toolbox ramp camps or during onboarding. Simple overlooked things that can really bring a lot of benefit to you should you get them working and optimized. So when we talk about administrative tools, what we're really talking about are all the items that sit below the line within your system here. So this would be template management, asset management, our integrations area, policies, and administrative tools. I'm going to start today from the bottom up and show you that there's some things that I often see overlooked in the settings that customers don't necessarily take the time to explore or don't understand that they can set up here. And when you come into admin settings, you'll notice that it's defined into 5 different menu items: system, report colors, predefined responses, email visual settings, and menus. Now, under system, we've got the ability to change our red, green, and yellow values in our scorecard. This will be set by default to 90 and 95. So if you're using our standard best practice vulnerability and risk scoring methodology, this aligns to that. But as many of you may know, we introduced some new scoring methodologies that can now be leveraged in the QBR that mirror very closely to what we utilize in GRC. And this allows you to put a little bit wider spread now. So if you were one of those customers that was looking to have a little bit more lower score represented area for red and yellow, you can now do that. Over here, we've got some settings for your import. These are settings that'll help you dynamically capture new items. So while I will be showing you reference tables today where you can add different items to areas of the system, this helps with an automated part. Now, by default, everything's set to true, which just allows us to gather things like asset types, operating systems, and manufacturers upon syncing with your PSA. But if you wanted to stop any of that for any particular reason, you can very easily toggle it to no. The big one that I see many people overlook is the opportunity to turn on MFA as a policy. This does default to no. We want folks to be able to, to work with their team and kind of roll that out. But if you switch that to true, the next time your customer or your end user logs in, they'll be prompted to set up their authenticator and basically set up 2FA for the system. Now, the next 2 areas I want to look at are really tied to customization. So there's a couple of things that customers always ask me, how can I customize this and really brand it as myself? So there's a couple areas you can do that. Over here on the right-hand side where you see your name, under my company, if one person in your organization updates the logo here, everybody will receive that logo. And that's the logo that'll go in the upper left-hand corner and into your reports by default. You can also customize your own image in here. If you want to bring your own picture in so you can have it as an avatar, especially as you're creating internal notes and other things that tie back to you, you can absolutely do that. But from an admin tool standpoint, the two areas that we can really brand are report colors and email visual settings. You'll see here when I come into report colors, you're now able to basically match the brand colors that you have to various areas of our report. We have a graphic over on the right-hand side that really helps you understand exactly where these colors are going to be implemented within the reports. And you'll notice for areas that you've got charting, you can call out a chart color as well. Similar to the report colors, we have email visual settings here. These are for the emails that go out of the system. These can be your business insight emails. They can be your customer experience emails. They can be your delegate emails for the customers that are going to be delegated to in GRC, or vendors for vendor risk assessment, as an example. So you really do want to take some time and customize this mail to work for yourself. Now, one of the more recent entries into our settings, and definitely overlooked by a lot of clients, is predefined responses. As many of you know, that inside our IT review, you have drop downs for previous entries. And dynamically, we will capture the result of some of the notes that you place into the assessment so they can be utilized with that template across all customers. You can also set up to 5 predefined responses as well. You know, I've built a couple here. This does not meet best practice. This does meet best practice. And you'll notice you can put your company name in as a tag as well. These are just little shortcuts that then allow you within an IT review to very quickly and easily, when you're answering a question, look for those standard answers and bring the ones that are in straight into your report. So predefined responses are something new. And very shortly, we're going to be building out predefined goal statements as well. We've gotten increasingly more customers that are asking us to build out some standard goals for the strategy area, and that's where those will be housed as well. I mentioned a little bit about reference tables earlier. When you've got something that you want to add to a particular column, let's take asset types as an example. While we will generally dynamically pull those in, sometimes the system does have challenges picking up things like ampersands or some punctuation. If you do run into an issue where you don't see that, you can add it very easily to your list. And now this would be available to you as an asset type when you're building your asset policies within the system. If you ever want to set back to original values, you can do that and then allow a reseeding of your assets to happen on the next sync. You can also reorder these. So if you've got ones that you know you're going to be using all the time and you want to put them at the top of your list, you can do so. And then that would cascade anywhere you see that list. You'll see here we have other different types of opportunities listed for you. You know, incident types, meeting types, and meeting types is a big one. If you want to build templates for different use cases within the system that VCIO Toolbox doesn't provide you natively, you can build these meeting types and then build templates against the meeting types you add. And then you'll be able to conduct those assessments and keep them individualized. So that's just a quick high level on reference tables. I encourage you to explore that when you have an opportunity. Some other things you're going to want to touch at some point, and in my demo system, I'm missing it right now, but your Business Insights email template. If you've never customized that, you're going to want to, because the language doesn't speak to your company per se. You've got to make some changes to speak to your company. When you come into your user list, some things that folks aren't aware of. We do have different user permissions. Admin, manager, and employee are 3 roles you can use internally, and portfolio is generally assigned to your external users. So in the admin, they will have full functionality to make changes throughout the system. This could be to templates or any other artifact within the system. That also is what opens up this level of, or these different options that sit below the line. If you're a manager, and that's what we suggest you make most VCIOs, managers have the ability to activate customers, deactivate customers, delete recommendations throughout the process, and really be in control of the customer experience without having any access to the global controls. The employee is really geared more towards your engineers that might be helping with the IT review. It basically gives them straight up access into the system. They can certainly be a contributor to building out the IT review, but it really limits them on what they can delete or what they can accidentally let go of. And when you build a portfolio user like the one that I'm in right now, the portfolio user allows you to then assign accounts to that portfolio. That could be a single account if a customer just has one location, or it could be a group of accounts if you're working with a property management firm or a hotelier. We've seen that in the past. And then you can give them portal access, the ability to see a global budget, and then the ability to see individual locations as well. So those are the different user roles that we have in the system. Another thing I always like to point out when we're looking at users as well, if you want to build some internal surveys to really keep up with, how your users are feeling about life, you could come in here, and this connects to the CX module, and you can build how happy are you working here style assessment, and even do some internal HR driven assessments if you choose from inside the system. When you come over to recommendation categories, this is a great opportunity. Oh, excuse me, recommendation categories is a great opportunity for you to add any new categories you might want to color code in here. You'll see that we have a set of defaults built for you. You can add new ones. You can even edit them. Don't like my colors? Feel free to change them. But this just gives you control of the categories. I think many of you are familiar with our report designer. We've done breakouts on the report designer as well, but some things that people don't know that affect and impact the entire global community inside the report designers as follows. These global report sections are the headings and content that you find within each section. If you don't like our heading, if you want to customize it, if you want to change anything, you can come in here, open up that section, make your edits, and then update those settings. And once you do that, that will now become globally available for all customers, even under default reports. Report Designer, for those that don't know, is a simple drag and drop tool. You can build out your own cover pages. You can build custom reports very easily in here, and they become available to for your customers. Everything is drag and drop, as I've mentioned earlier. You can add and subtract things very easily. You can move them around within your report. And you'll notice we break everything down by section: page, QBR, GRC, and we have custom sections. Now, this is something I do want to share too. A lot of folks don't know that you can actually bring custom imagery into your reports through the report designer as well. Now, there's a couple areas you have to work in order to do this. Your image library lives here under the admin area. So any images you may want to incorporate into your reports, you can bring here. Here you'll see that I've got it populated with some different infographics. If you go up into the university, you'll see these infographics are available to you as well under Report Designer images. But you'll see in my list of infographics here, I've given them a name and they're ready to go. Now, if I want to go under admin again and go into my report designer, if I wanted to use one of those images, I would come to custom marketing on the top row. I can implement that image here. I'm going to just add this one and call it footer image. And then you'll see when I save it, I've now created a section under my custom sections that I can utilize. So now I can bring any of these images, this is the footer image that I just had, and bring them into my report, allowing me to put a little bit extra visual in there. So if you've got any common infographics, you could even take screenshots of particular reports for a customer if you so choose. You can bring that information in here and use that as well. PSA merge generally only happens on onboarding, but if you are someone that is not on a PSA platform today and you bring a PSA platform in, you can absolutely go in there, do your sync, activate your new version, the PSA connected version of your customer, and then merge in your manually created item as well. So those are some of the big hit items under admin that I wanted to show you today as part of our discussion. Now, starting at the top, I want to go into templates for a moment. Most of you have probably gone in, done some customization with your templates. But in the event you haven't, let's just talk a little bit about what this template page is showing you here. You've got all your templates that are ready for use, so listed here on the left. Any that are for the Business Insights use case here will have check marks in those boxes. You'll see if I sort on it, I can bring up my 4 templates that are associated with my business insight process, and I can make changes there if I want to. Whichever template right now is currently set as the default template, that will also be notified here as well. That will change if you make changes within the system. Then when you come to the meeting type column, you're able to filter on the different use cases within the system. As most of you know, business reviews are what we utilize for QBRs, TBRs, and they're really stackable templates that allow you to really align to the technologies your customers are utilizing. We also have other use case templates ready for you. We've got cloud readiness here in the assessment. We've got pre-sales assessment and discovery. And of course, your tech stack review. And we've done a number of classes of late on the tech stack review. That's something, if you're not utilizing, I really suggest you take a look at, because it'll really help you understand your customer stack compliance. And back in the CAM module, we have reporting so you can see all those variables as well. Now, if you want to create a new template, you would come in here, and the critical path is really picking your meeting type. As I mentioned earlier, if you want to create a new meeting type, you can do so in the reference tables under admin. But let's just assume we're going to keep this one as a business review. I can then also choose what I want to be the scoring methodology. Now, a quick word of caution. You do want to have all your business review templates under the same scoring methodology. You don't want to mix and match them. You'll see we have a few different options for scoring here now. We have the ability to do an average view of things, where we take a look at each section and take an average of the section. Then we take an average of all those subtopics and then create an overall score for the topic. And then all those topics become the overall score when cubed together. You can set that so your indicator for negative is either risk or best practice. What I've really seen a lot of folks adopting to, and we're going to be making this the system default very shortly, is the average all points. This allows you to have a weighted value for each question, and each tick on the weighted value will contribute to a total batch of points. So for example, if we had 100 questions and they were all rated at 3, that would actually mean we have 300 points to work with. We then have some math equation going on in the background that takes those 300 questions, divides them down, and awards each one, let's say, 1/3 of a point. And then depending on how you answer the question and what the weighted value is, that penalty will be taking off there. This was in response to a lot of our customers that were having challenges kind of getting their best practice vulnerability and risk values to really adequately tell the story that they wanted to tell. And it also cleans up the scoring a little bit as well. And then you can even use the CIS average scoring model, where you've got 4 different answer controls, but we don't see that really occurring very much on the QBR side. Definitely something we're seeing being instituted in custom reports in the GRC. So, over here, I just wanted to make sure that folks know that there's new scoring methodologies that can be leveraged. You'll see your scoring methodology in this column. And of course, this is where you can come in and manage your templates. If you're unsure how to do this, I share with you should go up to the university. We do have multiple breakdown videos where we've spent some time there as well. Now, after we go through templates, let's go into assets. This is where all of our pre-built asset policies live. Now, some things people aren't aware that they can do here. You can clone a policy very easily. So if you want to have another copy of this particular policy, and you want to have all the rules logic that we've built here, maybe you're just changing the asset type and need another asset type with the same rules, you can very easily clone it. And then when you clone it, it'll inherit all the properties of the policy you already brought in, and you can make updates to your title at that stage. So that's one way that you can really work with policies and clone any that you need to build new policies with the same rule set, so you don't have to rebuild the logic. If you have one single name, let's say your workstations were all called Dell workstations, as an example, you could go into each individual policy as well, and you could reassign the asset type. So now you've got the same policy here, but you're reassigning the asset type, and hopefully that will tie out with your different recommendations, or excuse me, with your different asset types that you're importing in. And then down below here, you can build a recommendation as well. So then when you run the policies, it will build that recommendation and insert it into the recommendations manage area. So you can then determine how you want to work with it. So that's just a little bit about assets here. And if you want to manage your asset types, you can get to that reference table right here in this area as well. The other thing people aren't aware of is you do have access to the rules engine. So if you want to build your own policies, you can absolutely build rules and policies very easily. And then finally, we're going to finish out with integrations here. One thing I've noticed that a lot of folks are unaware of, even though we've sent out some marketing on it, is that we now have Microsoft integrations available to us as well. So if you want to add your Microsoft integrations in for your customer, whether you're in the QBR or the CAM module, you can come in here very easily, add your directory application and client secrets, and then we will start building out your Microsoft data information that can be included. It's already included by default on your dashboards when you build it out, and you can build some reporting to go with it as well. And stay tuned. We are doing right now a very big projects going on, looking at all the Microsoft Graph capabilities and really looking at bringing in data and giving you more flexibility to build out your own custom dashboards and also different reporting, so you can really tell your 365 and Azure side of the story as well. So that is, the big one in integrations. Now, another thing I want to point out here is each section has its own settings and condenses those settings to just what's needed in that area. So you'll notice here when I go into CAM, I can see users, report designer, image, and I can see a global view of tasks. So if I'm a manager, I can see all the tasks that are out there for everybody in one view, as opposed to users who are really just seeing their tasks in their view. Under GRC, settings will look very familiar to what we just went through in QBR. So you'll see we've got a very similar location grouping here. Down at the bottom, a couple things you'll notice is we have site location and internal locations. These are for your company, not for your customers. And this really gives you the ability to kind of build out these different locations. And ultimately, we're going to be releasing a capability where you can now start building territories. So based on what's been assigned to customers and how those companies have been assigned to these different regions, you can actually start restricting users within the system from seeing different customers that they're not a party to, if you so choose. So, and then the final area that has some actually CX doesn't have any settings because it is one big setting helping you drive those different assessments out there in the marketplace. So in any event, that's just, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Those are some of the things that you can do with the admin area today. So if you have any questions, like always, I'll tell you to come visit us over at support@VCIO Toolbox. Ask those questions and we'll try to help you out. But really, that's what we've got to cover today. Again, these are questions that today's exploration of the admin settings was in response to a lot of customers I've been working with that just aren't sure if they're setting everything up appropriately, if they're maximizing what they can use to optimize the system for their organization. So I hope I answered a couple of your questions during today's session, and I'm going to open up the floor now for Q&A and see if anybody's got any questions right now outside, or if anybody wants to ask any questions directly, you can pop them into chat as well. Either way, as you know, at the end of each session, we'll open up the floor for Ask Me Anything. So even if those questions have nothing to do with today's content, please feel free to ask them here. And if you have a question you want to ask me directly, and you don't want to do it within the confines of the open coaching, please feel free to email me at bdoyle at vciotoolbox.com, and I'll be happy to answer that question for you as well. So it looks like we've got a quiet bunch today. I'm going to allow those that want to jump off the call to get a couple minutes back in your day at this stage. I want to thank you for coming. I'll keep this open for anybody that does want to ask a question in the next few moments for another minute or two. But for those that will be leaving us, thank you very much for joining us today, and we hope to see you again next Tuesday. Replays of this video will be available to you in the university. So in the university, you can come in, go down to our office recordings, and you're able to then in turn see any of our previous sessions. Jim, thank you for that question. All right, folks. Well, I'm not seeing any other questions coming in. So at that, I'm going to thank those that stayed on the line. I appreciate you coming out and joining our coaching session today. And I'll look forward to seeing you all again next week. Have a great week and a successful end of the month run. Take care, everybody.